Here we go again. Alright, so right about now, you will see a clip which I've put together, completely debunking this.
I'm quite literally sat here, making my YouTube video, and I've added the noises of the banging to this video to make it seem like that it was happening whilst I'm recording this. Yeah. Easily debunked. Sorry about that.
I think this might be the start of a new YouTube channel called Nexor Debunks. So yeah, that's the audio as far as the TV screen. They probably just loaded up a video from YouTube of distortion and everything else taking place on a TV screen, or put together a video themselves and just played it. Really annoys me how easily debunked these videos are. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. That just about ties up today's video. I hope you enjoyed the clips. If you did, please drop a like on the video and also subscribe for future content. I post every single day at 8 PM UK time. I'm actually in the middle of putting together something different alongside the reaction videos. A bit of a deep dive into a completely different thing. It's something I think you will thoroughly enjoy, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. But for now, stay well, stay safe, and stay curious. Until next time.